Awesome.
Hello and welcome to the Minute Roulette part of MxM at Home 2. The main premise of today's game is that our panel of minute-by-minute podcast hosts will be presented with a random minute from a random film, randomly selected. I've said random too many times, but we'll keep going. A minute from the film, and they will have to watch it once and see how much we can analyze it and discuss it. Maybe even see if you can guess the film. So my lineup of panel guests, I've got to double check my list in case I forget people. That person I mentioned earlier is still not here, right?
Right.
Just for
Yeah,
okay.
right. So
Yeah.
no.
So I am joined today with Robin, Austin,
Yo.
Brian, and Robert.
Brian,
Yep.
Robert. Cool.
So Robin, are we ready to play our first minute?
Certainly. I will just start with the one I mentioned.
And these have been randomized in advance, so there's no picking and choosing.
The simple fact is, the men in this family have always
Is it playing?
had to-
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going to sound.
If you can turn up the sound a little.
Be prepared for strangeness. Get ready for spooky time. But there's this family secret, and the secret is that the men in the family can travel in time. Well, more accurately, travel back in time. We can't travel into the future.
This is such a weird joke.
It's serious, not a joke.
So you're saying that you and Granddad and his brothers could all travel back in time?
Absolutely.
And you still do?
Absolutely. Although it's not as dramatic as it sounds. It's only in my own life. I can only go to places where I actually was and can remember. I can't kill Hitler or shag Helen of Troy, unfortunately.
Okay, stop.
Well, he said it.
Yeah. So first of all, it's a fairly easy one, but let's go with, can we guess the film that this was randomized from?
Shaun of the Dead.
Well, I don't think Robert should be guessing this one.
No, I don't think Robert is allowed to look at anything on his computer either.
I got my notes open from minute 4.
This has got to be Harry Potter, right? That's Bill Weasley, and I forget who Bill Nye played in Harry Potter, but it's got to be right.
Rufus Scrimgeour.
Yeah, and let's see, because they can time travel, so they must be witches or wizards. You're a wizard, Bill.
Story checked out.
You just got the time turner.
Yeah, right. But you can only use it to go to class or say Buckbeak.
Is this a flashback for Dead Man's Chest?
Yeah, right.
Somebody's got to answer with the right answer, right?
Somebody's got to say.
Peter Rabbit 1 or 2. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I went to Peter Rabbit 2 last night with my kids with the drive-ins, and boy, he looks really strange with dyed black hair and dyed black eyebrows.
Yes, but it's also a great movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious, actually.
I was at an arcade the other day, and I probably spent a pretty large amount of money trying to win a Peter Rabbit plushie, despite the fact that I knowing I can never win on those things. It was. Definitely more money spent on it than I would were I to actually buy it. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
what sport is
time.
that? Yes.
Yes.
Minute 4 of about time.
Minutes. Yeah.
So first impressions of this minute. Has anyone on the panel not seen the film it's from?
I have not seen this film.
Oh, so Austin, what are your first impressions?
It's a meaty minute. We're straight in there with exposition, and as exposition scenes go, they can be pretty excruciating. This is pretty good because a good exposition scene should have something dramatically happening as well. It can't just be an information dump, and the drama and a bit of comedy. Richard Curtis comedy, not. I'm sorry. I had to get a Richard Curtis. And, the comedy and the drama both come from the fact that the dad is kind of embarrassed, and it's kind of an awkward facts of life talk with your son, except it's a sci-fi premise, rather than the other facts of life. You're a bit too young for that, Luke. Sorry. And yeah, so I think it works, and I definitely wanted to know more, because I'm a sucker for the rules in any premise of like, what are the rules? Okay, he can't go back in time. He can only travel back on his own timeline, his own personal lifeline.
If you're a sucker for the rules, maybe don't watch this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're saying kind of links up with something that, if this was to come up in a different film, I would still have made this point, but it is a point by Richard Curtis, which is what he calls, I think he referred to it in Yesterday as the pickle jar idea, which was that there was a big scene of exposition in Yesterday, and then he just inserts the comedy character of the dad trying to open the pickle jar in the middle of the scene, and certainly people know it as the pickle jar scene and not as the exposition scene. And so I think it is quite an interesting way of forcing exposition but adding something else to it. And Robin, I realize I cut you off right at the start.
Oh, no. I was just saying I haven't seen it since I first saw it in theaters. I was really excited. I saw the trailer. I was so excited to see this movie. I went and saw it and I enjoyed it. I just realized I have not seen it since, and I really want to do a rewatch of it for sure.
It's one of those films which I think we found, Robert, in doing the show, is like holds up way more on rewatch.
Yep.
Like it's one of those where like people had that where it was like, I've seen this film before, or some people had no recollection that they had seen it, and then rewatched it and was like, how did I ever forget that this movie existed, and like fall in love with the movie. It's great. So I definitely can recommend that. I want to try and talk a little more on it, but I'm also aware to go on to other minutes because I could talk about time for a long time.
Yeah.
And you have.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll jump straight ahead to final conclusion thoughts on this minute.
Well, Bill Nye makes this minute. I mean, I like I can't think of the name who plays Bill Weasley.
Donald Gleason.
Yeah, Donald Gleason. He's good. And I like him a lot in that movie, but Bill Nye, he's like you just want him to be your dad after watching that movie. He's like so great. And him giving that awkward kind of like, it's almost like he's trying to have the sex talk with his son,
Yep.
but he's having a time travel talk with him, and it's kind of like, awkward. And I do like his little joke about it's unfortunate he can't shag Helen of Troy.
One of my favorite like little facts about this scene, obviously I can't give little facts about every scene we have look at, but it is the fact that they chose this house specifically so you could see the beach behind Bill Nye, and then he just stood right in front of the beach for the whole scene. But I think it works, and I do love Bill Nye's awkwardness. I sometimes have to admit to myself that I practice my Bill Nye doing this scene impression at times.
Luke, you can't just drop that there. Give us the impression.
Oh, hang on.
Now you're on the spot.
I think it comes before the start of the scene where he comes in and he's kind of like, it's not an impression of his voice. It's more the hands, but you can't see my hands unless I. He's kind of like, hand. Tim, my dear son. Now the thing is, the family secret is, now this is going to sound strange. Be prepared for strangeness. Get ready for spooky time. Now the thing is, the men in this family can travel in time. And then we go on, but I'm better when I'm not forcing myself on. But I've been doing my Bill Nye hands, because his hands.
You've also found a niche of like hand-based impressions.
So Robin, are we ready to look at our next randomized minute? I haven't actually checked what the other ones are that I've sent you, so
all right,
do that.
There'll be a surprise.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Oh, Robert.
I know you think I'm bothering you. Well, I don't want you to past, but we have to help her.
Oh.
Well, I love you. Okay. But that's what friends are for. You have to help each other out. She's just fallen on a little bit
let's go outside for some fresh air.
Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing.
I feel like for the sake of Robert, I do have to say these were actually randomized just before the show. I'm very scared for what the next one is now.
Yeah. Tonight's minute selections are brought to you by Lemming Drop Studios.
I feel like this was a setup.
So does anyone not know what film this is from?
I think we all know it.
Is it from the what was the well, now my joke's ruined. It's the one with James Franco.
The disaster artist.
The disaster artist. I kept wanting to say the con artist, and I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah, it's from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
It is of course the Brie Larson classic Room.
Yes. It was Academy Award winning, wasn't it?
And I think there's a film that's just come out on.
There's a new one called The Room.
The Room. What was it? It's that streaming site that I keep forgetting, the horror movie one.
Shudder.
It's Shudder. That's it. I should know that someone from my college
when I watched this,
like, made a film. Not in my club, a few years before. It doesn't matter. So what are our first impressions on this jam-packed minute?
I just want to say I actually never seen this one, and I know its reputation. I've just kind of like been waiting for like the right time. Like a couple of friends of mine were like, "We should watch The Room together," and because we've never seen it, and we just feel like we'd have more fun watching it together rather than like just sitting by yourself watching it. Yeah, and I'll also say the other guy with the cake looks like he has Paul Walker hair.
And it's not so much the right time as like the right time, you know, or the right time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to give props to the to the prop master, but also to the lighting in this scene. This is just like flat soap opera lighting. Just like first thing I was like, oh, they put up a clip. This is not a movie. It's a TV show. Look at the lighting, you know. And then I was like, yeah, I think Robert E.G. Black had something to do with this one.
I particularly like that when they say let's go outside, they literally take the time to show everybody walking outside, not just cut to outside.
Well, how else do you know that no one's staying inside?
Yeah. It's also the most cooperative party crowd. Hey, let's everyone go out for air. And then
heck yes.
But then they get excited about it too.
Yeah.
I've never thought about air before.
I mean, to be fair, I eat cake the same way at every party.
But like, yeah. Maybe it was set up as an air party though, so that they knew that was part of the evening.
But the roof is decorated. So.
What did you say?
This party was going to
be
the
roof
outside.
Is decorated, so they may have known that already.
Decorated. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, if they move outside, is it still technically part of the room?
No, neither is the bedroom. They weren't supposed to have 2 stories, but then they built the set with stairs.
Right.
It was fascinating. Like, I started a point and then I thought my brain would fill on the rest of that point, and it didn't.
I could say something good about this minute that I was thinking about just now watching it again. Is I love that you can barely hear what she's saying, but Claudette is talking in the background. Yeah, that is a through line that is in like 3 different scenes. That her friend Shirley is having problems getting a loan, and she wants Johnny to help, but it comes up in the background.
So Claudette is the mom, is it?
Yeah.
I have cancer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that Carolyn Minot probably like ad-libbed that, and that wasn't forethought on Wiseau.
I can't speak to the script. The available one was produced after the fact, so
that's fair.
The other available one is fake.
I remember you discussing that on your show. So I'm going to go straight into concluding thoughts again, because now all of the other minutes have finally made their way down.
Which one of my movies?
They're downloading right now.
Yeah, Robert, your films are coming up like when we did this on 2 Minutes About Time, and it was just sexual scenes. It's a 12 rated movie, but the only potentially risque scenes we're on, and only during the time in which one of our guests who had not seen any of the film was on the panel. So yeah, any concluding thoughts on this jam-packed minute?
I am not at all intrigued, but I'm at the same level as I was before. Like, I have to see this sometime because of its reputation. But that scene, I was like, I wasn't like, oh my God, what happens next?
They go outside.
This is 79 minutes in, so either you're in for the whole thing at that point or you've already left.
Maybe there's a lot in the lead up to it.
I definitely do think, Robin, you have to watch it with people and with people in person. I did so like towards the last week when Robert was doing the Room Minute, my Love Rosie co-host Ellen guested on with us, and so I watched it with her for her first viewing over Skype because it was during lockdown. That was just awkward. It was just, there was definitely like the tendency of a why did you make me watch this movie part of the conversation. So I definitely think when you can read people's faces in person rather than hear their voice over Skype, it's better.
Yeah.
We also once did a meeting. Invited people around to watch The Room, but none of them were film people, so they just found it a bad movie and didn't get any enjoyment out of it. So I've not had much success with this. But
you need to dump those friends. That's the
first time I watched it, I was watching it with my mum, and I had to go off and do something, and it was the only time ever that my mum has said, could you leave this on so I can watch the rest? So
wow.
No way.
Wow. So shall we randomize freshly the next minute rather than
oh yeah, sure. Sorry, I had the third one loaded, but I can definitely do that.
Just in case it's another Robert one. I'm
Go
going
right
to
ahead.
No, now I just need to know what it is so that we can get to the bottom of this conspiracy. Dude, you're saying,
12.
Again, I don't think it's anything.
What is 12?
Okay, 12. It's an MOV file. Oh, I can tell what it is just by the first frame. I'll share it with you guys.
Yeah, I just checked. Yeah, I know.
Second, and nope, that's the wrong window. Okay.
Oh.
You. Who are you? Dean Portman. From where? Chicago, Illinois. You.
Guy Germain.
From where?
St. Paul, Minnesota.
You.
Jesse Hall from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Who are you?
Julie Gaffney from Bangor, Maine.
Luis Mendoza, Miami, Florida.
Greg Goldberg, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Les Averman, Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. Fulton Reed, Stillwater, Minnesota.
Right. Russ Tyler, South Central Los Angeles. Charlie Conway, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Ken Rue, San Francisco, California.
Connie Moreau, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Adam Banks, Edina, Minnesota.
Dwayne Robertson, Austin, Texas.
Michelle McKay, Duluth, Minnesota.
And I'm Gordon Bombay, Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're Team USA, gathered from all across America. And we're gonna stick together. You know why?
Because we are ducks, and ducks fly together.
That's right, Jan.
Wow.
Do we know who they are?
Inspiring.
That guy's not from America.
Which one of them is the mayor?
Which one's the mayor of America?
The mayor of America.
Now this was
I am
miracle, right?
Spartacus from ancient Rome.
This is a miracle, and we're going to see them beat the Russians later in the movie, correct?
Yeah.
I have a problem with the ones that started standing up when he wasn't even calling on them. Like, you
To be
can't
fair,
follow what your coach says.
I also can't tell you if this is 2 or 3. Is this 2?
It's 1, isn't it?
Is it 1?
I have the answer, but I don't know whether.
I'm
literally giving the answer in my
This is
window.
2? I just
This is my
watched
print
it.
Liz knows. Liz knows.
Yeah.
For shame if you don't know.
Yeah.
Was one of the kids named John McCain?
Yep. John McCain. Not that one. From
Cameo.
Minnesota.
And he can't lift his arms up at all.
And one of them was Howard Dean. He just stood up and went, "Rah!"
One of them goes on to be a lawyer and helps a blind lawyer in New York in Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
That's true.
One of them was Keenan.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
He's no longer Keenan. He has another name now.
Yeah. Kel.
So who has and hasn't seen this movie? I have not seen this movie.
I've never seen it.
No, I've never seen it. I've only seen the first one.
I've only seen the
first
third
and
one.
that's it. Yeah.
I've never seen A Mighty Duck.
I've seen the scene in Night at the Roxbury where they talk about.
I just watched it. Was that this year? I was a guest on the show.
Yep.
And I didn't remember this was from that one. I thought
Yeah, I know the first one came out when I was in looking at the date 11th grade. So I was done with like Disney sports kids movies at that point. So I kind of caught up with all this later in life. But I do know that Marguerite Moreau is a fox, not in this movie. I'll just say that clearly.
Yeah,
but later in life, Queen of the Damned. I'm just saying, Queen of the Damned.
Oh, that's her. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew one of them looked familiar, and I was like, I don't know who that is, but she looks familiar. So
Careful. Tread carefully, counselor. Yeah. Yeah, I could feel where the scene was going. I could feel, the little bit of American inside of us all started to raise up. I started to, feel that pride in the chest,
Well, like I was joking about it being like Miracle, but honestly, there is a scene in Miracle just like this where the coach is, Kurt Russell had enough with them, and he just made them drill and drill and drill and drill over and over again until finally, when he kept asking them who they are, instead of giving their individual names, they were basically like Team USA, and then it was like, and everybody feels good, and now they're a team.
Oh, no way.
Spoiler alert, but it happened in real life, so I mean, it was based on a true story.
Okay, so in Mighty Ducks, they can, Emilio Estevez's character is basing it on a real, maybe on the real thing or on the movie. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah.
Well, it's like in that in all sports movies, you get that triumphant coach, big speech at the end to rally everybody up. I like the fact that Emilio kind of starts the speech, and it almost like the camera kind of focuses in on him, and it felt like Emilio was just going to start addressing us, to get us all riled up.
I'd be okay with that,
Yeah.
I was going to say I really appreciate this scene as someone who forgets character names, but also I can't remember any of their names. So it didn't work great.
There's too many all at once. But
that guy's name is San Francisco. That guy's name is Austin. Right?
Yeah.
Well, early on, they did have a couple of the names sounded like, like I'm Austin from Minneapolis or something like that.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of, I think it was Naked Gun 2.5, where they were discussing the boxers, and he's like, "Yeah, kid Minneapolis out of Detroit," and he fought, and they were different, city names, but out of different places, and they just kept going on and on with it.
Well, I'm Austin from Galway.
Well, there you go.
I'm Robin from Vermont, and I didn't appreciate that Howard Dean joke.
I thought I heard you yell.
Don't even yell at us about it.
So listen, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. We're all thinking it. We need to talk about Emilio's hair in this scene. That is a head of hair.
Yeah.
That is the most 90s haircut I've seen since the 90s.
I mean, this isn't necessarily related to the movie, but my friends and I would walk around, and anytime Emilio Estevez's name was brought up, we'd always go Emilio, and then the Mighty Ducker himself tipped his cap our way, and we would just say that all the time and yell Emilio.
When you would see him around?
Well, it was from the Night at the Roxbury, and we would repeat that exchange between them all the time.
Thought you were hanging out with Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, I was getting.
I also like the idea that's something you save to the end of this discussion. Is just by the way,
yeah, right.
Drop it in there, yeah.
So
well, I used to hang with Emilio.
By the way, he's here with me right now.
So what are our concluding thoughts on this minute?
Awesome.
I'm fired up.
It feels like that classic sports thing. So yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah.
It felt like one of those minutes that you do as a minute by minute podcast where you're like, that was a complete minute from beginning to end.
Yes.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah.
Just very unlike our previous minute.
It was very cheesy and very derivative, but you can't say it didn't do exactly what it wanted to do that minute.
Right.
Well, it's a kids movie, and
I was gonna say it's the kind of movie you watch when you want cheesy and derivatives, right?
Yeah, and you're just no surprises.
Yeah. So I'm gonna randomize another minute because we definitely got time for one more. 27.
27. All right.
Is that the last one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I really wanted 26. That's a shame.
Right.
Oh.
Pilot.
Well, this is Groundhog Day.
You saw his shadow.
I guess I was gonna say Caddyshack.
You guys need the Tunnel King. Where is he?
Hold on to yourself, Bartlett. You're 20 feet short.
What do you mean 20 feet short?
You're 20 feet short of the woods. The hole is right here in the open. The guard is between us and the lights.
All right.
Ooh, cliffhanger.
That
What's
is
gonna happen to
a
them?
situation.
Actually, I know. Go watch the movie if you don't know.
Or listen to The Great Escape Minute.
So first of all,
movie in a long time.
I spilled it.
First of all, I realized I should apologize both to Blake and I guess to myself for the copyright claims we're definitely going to be getting for the video version on YouTube of this.
Oh well.
And then apologize to our audio only listeners for this.
If you speak out through the hot chocolate audio, this is nothing.
Yeah.
I listened. I last year I listened back to the cooking show audio only. It worked.
If you don't recognize that Elmer Bernstein music, then it's one of the more obvious musical cues that for da da notes. Anyway, so and other people are doing the critique of this.
I knew what it
Jim,
was right
you're-
away. I
MxM
still wanted it
royalty.
to go for comedy. When he stuck his head up, like there'd be a guy just standing there.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, though, that movie does have some funny bits to it. You know, they try to stay lighthearted for such a serious subject of what it is. You know, overall in the movie.
Well, I can say it's the type of movie that I always think of as a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
probably
a real
'cause that's-
UK tradition.
Yeah, it's
And we
definitely
got the English TV channels over here as well, so I associate it with Christmas as well. Yeah.
The Great Escape and Escape to Victory. I get mixed up a lot because they're both on at Christmas, and they're both
Because you've seen The Great Escape to Victory, my fan edit.
I do genuinely remember when I was rewatching The Great Escape for the Great Escape Minute. I was there were definitely like points where I was like, oh, this is the bit when no, that's the other movie. And it's a shame because I did not remember how much I apparently enjoyed Escape to Victory that I kept looking forward to scenes. But yeah, so to those who haven't realized, it is The Great Escape. I realized I should have got people to guess like I set up. Has anyone not seen this movie?
I have, but he has. So half of us.
I haven't seen it properly all the way through as an adult, so I definitely need to watch it. I've seen it so many times.
It's worth it. I mean, I rewatched it recently, and it's one that I will, if it's on, you know, like it's Memorial Day and it's on, you know, I will watch it. But I do own it, and it's one worth revisiting every once in a while.
Well, it's a runtime you have to commit to. That's the problem. I think.
It's a long movie, but I think it flows. I think a lot of
it flows incredibly, but it's not
characters.
what should I pop on for a bit? It's I'm booked doing nothing else for the rest of this afternoon.
Are there any characters that you wish that they would have skipped over? Like everybody has a story, and you kind of like
yeah.
I didn't know. I don't know who the slow one is in that movie. Like, let's fast forward.
All right, so there's 22 of us right here. If someone has seen every one of our movies, right, all 22 of our movies, I'll put $20 into the donation. Is there someone who's seen them all?
Wow,
Jeff.
I've never seen
on,
Battle
Chad,
Royale.
I haven't seen The Great Escape.
Is that where everyone's failing? Is Great Escape?
There's probably someone here who's seen 0 of them.
To be
Where's Liz?
to be nice, I will count my movie as About Time and not Love Rosie, because no one's seen Love Rosie. But also everyone should see Love Rosie.
I've seen About Time, so you're wrong, Jeff.
I always remember The Great Escape in black and white, and every time I see a clip or see it on TV or something, I'm surprised, because the first time I saw it was in this like a B&B somewhere when I was on holidays or vacation with my family, and there was just this cheap black and white TV, and my memories of, like, especially Steve McQueen with the barbed wire and the motorbike are just so etched in as one of my early movie memories, but in black and white on a 14-inch little screen in the corner. And so every time I think of that movie, it's black and white.
Well, for me, whenever I see the scene where Steve McQueen's jumping over the fence, I always expect him to look at the camera and wink and smile and wink and jump, because I saw Top Secret well before I ever saw Great Escape. I was aware of it, And so, for whatever reason, I know I'm watching a serious movie, and I still always expect that.
That's great.
Burned in my brain.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, one of the first things that comes into my head, even though I've seen The Great Escape more than I've seen this movie, is the scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he does The Great Escape. And like, whenever I think The Great Escape, I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, despite the fact I've only seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood once, and I've definitely seen Great Escape at least 2 or 3 times. But yeah, I also realized we've not really talked about our minute at all. We've just reminisced about the movie.
The movie, yeah.
It's a good movie. So we did have a Groundhog Day comment during the film. As he pokes his head through the hole, and it is very true. It does have comic vibes, but I don't know how you could frame a shot like that without it instantly feeling like a comedy. I think it's just a shot that you can't do.
Yeah, well, it's also supposed to show that they messed up. Like, we popped up and we're out in the open, and we're not, we were supposed to be in the woods, and which was how the minute ended, and that's why I was like, oh, it's a cliffhanger, because they're short, and what are they going to do? I mean, they come up with a solution as best they could for as long as they could, but we don't get to see that.
No.
On that note, do we have time to randomize one more, or do we conclude?
Come on, one more.
I think so. Yeah. 7 minutes. Sure.
7.
Whatever.
That's a sign. That is right.
7.
7.
As you're doing that, is anyone from this group going to be showing what they're making for dinner?
More than likely.
I do some cooking.
I set up.
I can share my
We're getting
screen
whiskey
on DoorDash.
Yes.
I could make a bowl of cereals, but I've already eaten like an hour ago.
Here we go.
Ready?
Ready.
Wouldn't that solve the problem?
Hey, that's a good idea. Minion. Yes, my queen? Belay my previous order. Yes, my queen.
Thank you.
Do not thank me, human. I did not spare his life for you. I did so because I am wonderful.
Of course.
Hunter, escort this despicable human to reprocessing. It's time he learns the true meaning of the word respect.
Stop your pushing, I'm going.
Be wise, human. Should you decide to attempt escape or resist in any fashion, My robot will not hesitate to transport you into the cold blackness of space. Do I make myself clear?
Crystal.
Hunter, if this human tries anything, execute him.
Oh.
Well, that was worth having
Hey.
one last one.
How do you end with whatever the hell that was?
What was that?
As far as I know, that's the Great Escape. I mean,
that's from the room.
Charles
also.
Bronson is the robot, right?
Was that
I
very...
suspect Robert E.G. Black involved with it. Professor, was that you?
Oh no.
No, that minute wasn't you.
I swear to
So-
goodness,
I
I thought
actually
this was
don't
going to
know
be
what
like
movie
a
that
racer.
is.
I don't know what it is.
Not
I have no
everything.
idea.
so-
but
so
not
I
everything
have it
should
on
count
my-
as a movie. Just
So I
so you
have,
know.
I have
weird.
on my notes what this is, but does anyone know?
no.
It's the black hole.
So that avoids
Oh, wow.
that avoids the next
How
question of
dare you.
has anyone seen this movie then?
Just now.
So I know I want to.
robots and a guy in a space station.
Was that
I thought
Barry
it was some PBS show.
Kogan?
Yeah.
However you say his name?
It's an old Doctor Who.
It really
so
sounded
so
like
the
Doctor Who.
movie
I
is
think I might check
called
the music.
Danny Johnson Saves the World.
Now, is this like
Is
an
someone
old movie
covering
or
that
like a?
for movies by minutes?
Yeah.
Not a movie.
Norm.
What?
I thought we had to send in minutes from our movies.
That's what I
Well,
thought.
that
I
was the
can't
point.
remember.
That was
I
the
could have
point.
really freaked you out with some.
Just regular minutes.
So I'm just having a look.
Just
It
random
is-
minutes.
2015?
So, yeah,
It's on
2015.
This
And
is
it's a
insane.
retro style sci-fi take on classic family films.
Oh,
I am
wait,
so
directed
on
by
board
who?
with this. Christopher Mim.
Oh, okay, that's why. He may.
Christopher
Yeah,
Nolan.
he's in our.
This is
He's in the MxM group.
the director is.
Yeah, he makes a bunch of
Oh.
like. I watched one of his movies, and it's like pretending to be an old sci-fi
Yeah.
movie.
Wait,
Like
you
an
mean
old
we can
bad
put our
movie.
own movies in here? I missed the trick of self promo. I shot
you
Bruce
missed
on
that.
Game.
It's your
Yeah,
game. You're running it.
That's very true.
I was 100% sure that was vintage. Somebody else kind of copped it and said, "Is it new, made to look old?" I didn't.
It was
I
a little
pride
too
myself.
clear to be a. Too
Yeah,
old.
it's the haircut.
Yeah, but
Wait.
I've seen stuff restored that well. You know what I mean? I
True,
just
true.
that was,
Although if
that was-
it's something worth restoring, I feel like I would.
yeah,
recognized
that's true. That's true.
I
But,
so
wow,
thought it was
well
a Robert movie.
Yeah, there was no
That's-
grain.
I'm going to tell my children that was Independence
brain.
Day.
Well,
It's
then
black and white.
first of all, I would like to thank then Christopher Armin and give him a shout out if it is him who sent it to us, because that was
Stumped
awesome.
everyone.
I seriously want to see that movie. Not even
So-
not even joking. Like that's I
I
love
am
that.
adding that to my letterboxd watch list now. That is, yeah. I know I like had a quick check to see what the movie was, so I knew it was a recent movie, but I
Yeah.
didn't know anything more about it. Like,
I mean,
Great robot.
Robert mentioned, you mentioned Doctor Who, and some of the Doctor Who soundtracks from around that, from that kind of era, from like early '60s, and that are in the public domain. And I think that was actual Doctor Who music because it happens to be public domain music, and it sounds exactly right. You know what I mean? I think it might be a particular Cybermen serial that they lifted it from.
if we can fact check that somehow, that I want to know. That's insane recognition.
Well, it's very much that style and recorded in that era and in that way, are extremely well faked in the wobbly quality to the audio. You know.
Well, Austin, you know what's weird is that we were just talking about the only thing that gave it away for us was the haircut, because they were trying so hard to make it look like a 50s haircut, but you could tell it was modern devices that did the haircut, right? They're just
interesting. Yeah,
I'm an expert on hair, so.
That's great.
Well, that was a heck of a way to conclude this.
Yeah.
Better than I would have thought.
We got pranked.
Yeah, if we ended on The Room, then I think we'd all have just been disappointed. So It was. Thank you for joining. This is being released. Anyone want to plug some stuff? We've got no time. Go.
Malkovich, minute will return someday. Don't hold your breath.
Karate Kid, 2 minutes. Going on now.
I'll say the Love Rosie podcast will be back at some point. And you should listen to the backlog and watch Love Rosie.
Greatest Kid Minute is still moving all the time. Kicking away.
We're or at least I'm too lazy to post anything, but if you just directly message us, we can always use a guest for Fear and Loathing, which we're doing Gonzo Minute.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I'm not making a sheet, it's too hard. But if you want to like Fear and Loathing, you're welcome to join us.
Okay. I'm going to be signing up.
There you are, my man. It will be in yours, Malkovich. There we go.
All right, we can move this over to the other place. And
I full on can't find the email where I was sent that. So there we go. But thank you.
See you guys in a minute. Make sure you got your monies out there from Jeff.